When I was 17, there was a road in my hometown that everybody whispered about but nobody really went down unless they had to. Black Hollow Road. It wasn't much on a map, just a cracked, two-lane stretch that cut through a patch of woods on the outskirts of town. No streetlights. No houses. Just trees pressing in on both sides, like they were trying to swallow the pavement whole. My mom used to say, nothing good ever happens past the Black Hollow sign. And she wasn't wrong. Over the years, there had been more than a dozen disappearances tied to that road. Cars found abandoned on the shoulder, doors left open, keys still in the ignition, no sign of the driver. Local police always wrote it off as runaways or drug deals gone wrong, but everyone in town knew better. The last one hit too close to home. It was my best friend, Daniel. Daniel wasn't the type to just disappear. He was the reliable one. The guy who never forgot to text you back, never flaked on plans, never did anything reckless. But on November 13, 2012, he drove down Black Hollow Road on his way home from work. He never made it. They found his car the next morning. It was pulled onto the shoulder, hazard lights still blinking. His phone was in the cup holder. The driver's side door was hanging wide open. But Daniel was gone. No footprints. No blood. No struggle. Just gone. The cops told his mom he probably left on his own. But I knew that was bullshit. Daniel wouldn't leave me. He wouldn't leave anyone. So I decided to find out what really happened. The first thing I did was drive down Black Hollow Road myself. I'll never forget that first trip. The air felt heavier the second I passed the old Black Hollow sign. Like the temperature dropped 10 degrees. The woods on both sides seemed wrong. Too quiet. No birds. No rustling leaves. Just silence pressing against the car windows. About halfway down, I saw the spot. The place where they found Daniel's car. There was nothing there now, just a skid mark in the dirt where his tires had been. But standing there, I felt this presence. Like someone was standing right behind me. Watching. Breathing. I spun around. Nobody. That was when I noticed something carved into one of the trees. Deep scratches, too clean to be from an animal. 4 vertical lines. And 1 slash crossing through them. Like someone keeping count. When I asked around, people weren't eager to talk. Most just shook their heads and muttered something about bad luck. But an old man named Harris, who ran the bait shop, finally opened up after a few beers. "You want to know the truth about Black Hollow?" he said, voice low. "That road's been cursed since before we were born. Folks used to say there's something in those woods. Something old. Something that don't let go once it takes a liking to ya." He leaned closer, his breath reeking of whiskey. "They say it marks you first. Lets you know you're next. Then it comes for ya. And when it does..." He didn't finish. Just tapped the side of his glass and went quiet. A week later, I went back. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I'd find some clue the cops missed. Maybe I just wanted to feel close to Daniel. But I shouldn't have gone. It was around midnight when I pulled over at the same spot. I sat there in the car with the engine idling, just listening. The silence was suffocating. Then I saw something move in the trees. At first, I thought it was just a deer. But then it stepped closer. It was tall. Too tall. Its limbs were long, wrong, bent at angles that made my stomach twist. I couldn't make out its face, it was like the shadows clung to it, hiding every feature. But I swear to God, it was holding something. A jacket. Daniel's jacket. I hit the gas so hard I nearly ran off the road. I didn't stop driving until I was back in town, sweating, shaking, barely able to breathe. A few days later, I got a message on Facebook. No name. Just a link. It led to a hidden forum filled with locals sharing stories about Black Hollow Road. Photos of abandoned cars. Audio recordings of strange noises in the woods. Even old police reports that had somehow been leaked. The worst was a video. It was dated 1998. A camcorder recording. A group of teenagers dared each other to walk down the road at night. The first few minutes were just laughing, nervous jokes. Then one of them pointed the camera toward the trees. Something was standing there. The camera shook, the kids started screaming, and the footage ended in static. The police never released that video. They didn't want people knowing what was really out there. I should have left it alone. I should have let Daniel's disappearance stay a mystery. But something inside me wouldn't stop. I went back one last time. This time, I brought a flashlight, a camera, and a knife. I parked at the same spot and forced myself into the woods. Every step felt heavier, like the earth itself wanted me gone. Then I found it. A clearing deep in the trees. In the center was a massive oak, its bark covered in those same carved tally marks. Dozens of them. Hundreds. And at the base of the tree, something glimmered. I picked it up. It was Daniel's phone. Dead, but intact. I dropped it when I heard the sound. Breathing. Slow. Deep. Right behind me. I turned. And saw nothing. But the trees weren't the same anymore. They were closer. Closing in. I ran. I don't even remember how I made it back to the car, but I did. And when I slammed the door shut, I saw it in the rearview mirror. Tall. Wrong. Watching me from the tree line. It's been 13 years since Daniel disappeared. People still go missing on Black Hollow Road. The cops still write them off as accidents, runaways, or crimes that can't be solved. But I know the truth. That thing in the woods, it's still there. It's been there long before us, and it'll be there long after. And the tally marks? They're not just random scratches. They're a count. A record of everyone it's taken. And if you ever find yourself driving down Black Hollow Road at night, and you feel the urge to pull over, don't. Because once it marks you, there's no going back. On my second week there, I met a woman walking past the property. She was in her late 60s, wearing a sun hat and carrying groceries. "You're living there now?" she asked, almost in disbelief. I nodded. "Yeah. Just moved in." Her face darkened. "You need to be careful in that house." When I pressed her, she told me a story. Years back, the house had belonged to a man named Joseph Miller. He lived alone after his wife died. Locals said he grew strange, talking to himself, wandering the woods at night. One winter, a delivery driver found Joseph hanging from a rafter in the basement. The police discovered something else too. Behind that locked basement door were dozens of Polaroids. Photos of people. Not just strangers. Locals. Neighbors. Children. All taken without them knowing. Some Polaroids showed people sleeping in their own beds. Others were taken through windows at night. No one ever figured out how Joseph got into those homes. The woman leaned closer. He used to whistle. Said it helped him find people in the dark. Then she walked away, leaving me standing in the driveway, cold despite the summer heat. That night, the whistling was louder than ever. It circled the house, starting near the woods, then drifting to the porch, then, terrifyingly, beneath the floorboards. The basement. Gripping a baseball bat and a flashlight, I forced myself downstairs. The padlocked door was rattling. Not violently, just enough to make the lock clink against the metal latch. I stumbled back, heart racing. The rattling stopped. Then came the whistle. From behind the door, the next morning, I called the landlord. "There's something in the basement," I said. Carl was quiet for a long time. Finally, he muttered, "Don't go near that door. You hear me? Don't ever go near it." Then he hung up. That was the moment I knew I had to leave, that I planned to pack and go the next day. But that night, the last night, I woke to the whistle again. Only this time, it wasn't faint. It was in my room. I sat up, flashlight shaking in my hands, and caught a glimpse of something in the corner. A man. Pale, wet-looking skin. Bare feet. Eyes glinting in the light. He was smiling. And he was holding a Polaroid camera. The flash went off. Before I could move, he was gone. No door opened. No footsteps. Just gone. I tore out of that house barefoot, sprinting into the road, not stopping until I reached the gas station 2 miles away. In November, my dad bought a camcorder to film family events. But I used it for something else. I set it up in the living room one night, pointed at the hallway, and let it record while we slept. The next morning, I played the tape. At 3:17 a.m., the hallway lights flickered on and off. A door creaked open on its own. And then, a figure stepped into frame. Tall. Thin. Moving slowly, almost gliding. It stopped in front of the camera, head tilted, as if it knew it was being watched. The footage cut to static. When I showed my parents, they refused to watch. My dad got angry, told me to stop, feeding into hysteria. But I knew what I saw. And so did my sister. A few weeks later, we found deep scratches carved into the walls. Long, vertical lines, 3 at a time. They started in the basement. Then the kitchen. Then the hallway outside our bedrooms. One morning, I woke up to find 3 scratches running across my bedroom door. Like something had been clawing, trying to get in. That was the first night I refused to sleep in my room. By December, things escalated. My dad, who had been the biggest skeptic, began to change. He grew irritable, paranoid, often pacing the house late at night. Sometimes I'd hear him muttering to himself in the basement, though he didn't remember doing it the next day. One night, my mom woke up to find him standing over her with a knife in his hand. He claimed he didn't know how he got there. We took the knife away, but the damage was done. Something was getting inside his head. It was the same thing that had taken Richard Hale. Out of desperation, I started digging deeper. I went to the library, pulled old newspaper clippings. We didn't stay to see what came next. My mom grabbed us and dragged us out the front door. My dad resisted at first, muttering that he couldn't leave, but we pulled him anyway. We ran barefoot into the snow, neighbors staring as we screamed down the street. We never went back. My parents filed for bankruptcy, left everything behind, and moved us into a cramped apartment. The house on Ashwood Lane was boarded up again, unsold, unwanted. But I know it's still there. And sometimes, late at night, I dream about it. The creak of the porch. The smell of damp wood. The sound of 3 knocks on the wall. And I wake up to find scratches on my bedroom door. Years later, in 2010, I looked up the house online. It had been sold again. A young couple with a baby. 3 months later, they were gone. The house sits empty once more, waiting for its next family. And if you ever drive down Ashwood Lane, you'll see it. The old colonial with the dark shutters and the for sale sign that never comes down. If you're smart, you'll keep driving. Because once you step inside, it doesn't let you go.